So I am now touching the block. So I have essentially used a gauge block here to tell me where the top surface of my part is. I'm going to flip over to the settings page to show you the setup. Notice that I have not said that the gauge block is a touch plate. It is not. It's just a gauge block which is self-contained. I have previously set up the height of my gauge block, which is 1.0043. That's what you get when you stuck the old micrometer on it. And I'm going to go back to the coordinate offset page. So the gauge block height was previously set up. I have the master tool mode active, and I have the master tool mounted. I am going to tell it to set 0 for the part. And it does. Now, I'm going to scroll this down. You notice it says MSM has saved the machine coordinate, work coordinate Z0 for G54. That's the magic message that tells you in master tool mode we have saved off the position of the top of the block. I'm going to change this back to continuous mode, bring my tool up above the block. I'm going to pull my block out. Now, you probably want to know, do I really trust the software? Is it doing what I think it's doing? How do I know that 0 is really in the right place? Well, if you'll bear with me here, I'm going to try and move our windows around so that we can see the offsets here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to manually jog, and I'm going to bring the tip of the tool back down towards the top of the part. Now, notice that it says we're at plus 1.059 in Z. That's in the work coordinate system. So again, in this DRO panel, in either the touch off or the probing pages, you can always see the equations Mach is doing. You can see that it's saying my work coordinate position is equal to my machine coordinate position minus my work coordinate offset, which was set when we set to 0. We have no G92 offsets active, minus the tool length offset. And the tool length offset is 0 because we have the master tool mounted. So I look at this and I say, it says it's about 1 inch. Is it really 1 inch? Well, let's get our old gauge block. Yeah, it is. It's a bit bigger than that. So we'll move our gauge block out of the way. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do G90, G54. Yeah, let's do G1 just so you can see the movement speed, and let's make it fairly slow. F5 gives us a chance to see because we're not moving very far. And I'm going to go to Z1.0. And you'll see that it has moved itself down to what it believes is Z1.0. And the gauge block just barely has a little bit of friction at the tooltip as I slide it underneath there. So indeed, we are at Z1.0 above the part surface. Now, you probably think, all right, that's fairly normal. Now what? Okay, we've set the part, we've master tool mode, things are all set up. Let's pretend we're running along, we've done some machining with this drill bit, and now we want to go to another tool, and we want to measure it automatically as part of the tool change, and we want to convince ourselves that indeed it does come out to be the right tool length offset and everything is referenced correctly to the top of the part. Okay, let's mount tool 101. 101. So T101, M6, changes to the tooling page as we expected, takes us off to the tool change position, and it says mount the tool and the spindle. I'm going to loosen the chuck, take the master tool out. I'm going to put the shorter bit in. Come on, chuck. There we go. I put a shorter bit in. I have the tool physically mounted. I'm going to tell the machine that it is mounted. And the software is going to say, okay, I'm mounting tool 101. I need to go measure it because that's the way the options are set up. Lowers it down to the tool change position touch plate. Again, I have this set up for double probe. It says I have measured tool 101. And the tool change is complete, and it has taken us back to the page we were previously on. Let's manually go look at the information that we got from that tool change operation. Let's change to tool 101. Notice that its tool length offset, I stress the word offset, is a negative 0.5846. That is because this tool is shorter than the master tool by about a ½ inch. The physical tool length, if you were to compare the two physical tool lengths, you will find out that the difference between the master tool physical tool length and this tool's physical tool length is indeed the tool length offset value. So we have mounted tool 101. Let's go and check that we actually have the right tool length offset in here. Let's jog back over on top of our part. Bring us over here towards the middle a little bit. I'm looking at it with some parallax. I'm just going to say Z1.0, and it moves the bit to 1 inch above the surface of the part. Let's check it with our old gauge block. There we go. What more could you ask for? Now, let's do this once again. Let's do another tool change as if we were running the system. Let's say T102, and let's mount it. Oops, helps if I activate the MDI line first. T102, M6. Again, takes us to the tool change position. We'll pull the current drill bit out, and this time we'll put in the bit which is longer than the master tool. That is now mounted. I have physically mounted it. I will tell it to